Hi there and welcome back to the channel. I'm the GCSE science teacher, and in today's lesson we'll be learning about energy resources. This is part of topic 1 in physics GCSE called energy. If you do find the video helpful, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Become part of our community by doing so. And you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at the GCSE science teacher for more GCSE content. So the question of the day is, where do fuels come from? Fuels actually can come from the earth itself, but they can also come from outside of the earth, so the sun, in terms of solar energy. So let's talk about it. The main energy resources we use are as follows, starting off with fossil fuels: coal, oil, natural gas. These are what we call fossil fuels. It's because they are made of dead organisms, such as plants and animals that have been under high pressure and heat for millions of years and form these resources. They are finite. They will run out and will not be replenished within our lifetime. And they also do release a lot of pollutants into the atmosphere when they are burnt, which is a lot of the current protesters at the moment with Just Stop Oil and things like that. A lot of people don't want us to use fossil fuels anymore, and we'll talk about this in more detail later on in the lesson. But it is a fuel that we do use around the world, and it's because of the chemical energy that's stored in them. And remember, all fuels will have some sort of chemical energy that we can utilize and use them for different things, whether it's heating or transportation. Another type of finite resource is a nuclear fuel. So I won't go into a huge amount of detail, but if you are doing triple science, you will need to know about the nuclear radiation and how nuclear reactors work. Nuclear fuels such as uranium-235 is a radioactive isotope. Essentially, a fission reaction will occur. Neutrons are fired at this isotope and the nuclei will split. That releases a huge amount of energy and can be utilized for electricity. Biofuels are renewable. They are created from dead organic matter. So a lot of the buses you may see, even if you go on a bus to school, you may actually be using biofuel on your way there. A renewable resource such as wind and solar, wave and tidal, geothermal, which uses the heat from the earth to generate electricity. A lot of places like Iceland use geothermal resources, and hydroelectricity, which is very much linked to tidal and wave. So these are just some examples, but what are the uses? Well, we use them, like I said, we use these for transport, to generate electricity and also heating, and they do want you to know that at GCSE. But the limitations, well, we've said already that some of these resources, like fossil fuels, they are finite resources, they have environmental impacts, and they also can cause destruction of habitats, specifically crude oil, which I'll do a video on in the future because it does link to other parts of the course. If we're extracting oil from the ground in the form of cracking and fracking, I should say, this actually is taking oil from underneath the seabed. And as we know, oil and water don't mix a lot of the time. There was a big oil spill about a decade ago now, and it caused a lot of habitats or a lot of plant and animal life in the ocean to be destroyed because of it. So the destruction of habitats, if we're mining for coal, if we're mining for different fuels, it can obviously cause destruction of habitats as well. However, renewable energies like solar and wind, they are obviously less polluting. However, they are weather dependent. So you have to have a sunny day, you have to have windy weather to generate that electricity. They can also be expensive to start up. A lot of the houses in the UK or across the world may want to use solar panels, but it will require a lot of funding from the government to do. They can also be quite noisy, specifically the wind energy, the wind power. They can be an eyesore. So actually, a lot of the time, these are put into the sea. Away from people's homes, so they're not too loud. And again, that can just cause destruction to habitats as well. The environmental impact of different types of resources. So obviously I mentioned pollution, and in chemistry of the atmosphere, I will link this video to it. I know this is a physics lesson, but there is other areas in the course where you will need to know about pollution in more detail. So it's worth being aware of that. Oil spills, like I mentioned, climate change and habitat destruction, which I've mentioned already. You do need to be aware of patterns and trends at GCSE. You could be given some data to analyze, and this is just a general idea to show you that a lot of the current uses of fuels come from those fossil fuels. So oil is the biggest one. Obviously, that could include petrol, diesel, which are highly valuable currently because of their use and their utility. Gas as well to heat homes and cooking. Coal is obviously used slightly less in the home now, but is used in power stations to generate electricity. There is only a small proportion of other resources being used. It is something that is an ongoing want of people. A lot of people do want to use renewable energy, but it is down to the government, it is down to the money and the financial aspect, but also social media. We are living in the digital age, and a lot of people don't realize that they have a voice and can actually advocate for these things. And it's how voting works in the democracy that we live in, or in some countries, they have that ability to have peaceful protests. So it's definitely worth looking into if you are passionate about climate change. You want to find out more. There are so many resources that you can get in to look at and get involved in. But the reason a lot of the fossil fuels are still being used is because of the political and socio-economical considerations. And that's something at GCSE they do want you to be aware of. So that was a very quick video. I hope it was helpful. It's a bit of an ending to this module. So if you did find this helpful, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos and my Instagram and TikTok at the GCSE Science Teacher. I have been just that, the GCSE Science Teacher, and you have been curious. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.